There's some new developments in the case against Luigi Mangione, the man accused of gunning down a top health insurance CEO on a New York City sidewalk. In a new court filing, Mangione's lawyers are asking for state murder charges to be dismissed. They argue their client's constitutional rights are being violated because that case and the parallel federal prosecution, which could carry the death penalty, essentially amount to double jeopardy. Let's bring in NBC's senior legal correspondent, Jarrett, to break it all down for us. So walk us through the arguments being made by both sides here, Laura.
Even if the defense is not going to prevail on any of these arguments, Craig, a good defense lawyer has to try, because you'd rather get at least some of the charges chipped away at, knocked out before this ever gets to the jury, right? The problem for Mangione's lawyers here is that the Supreme Court has already recently said this is not double jeopardy. You can have the same person prosecuted in state and federal court. You think about it, our system, those are two separate systems. Yeah. So the Supreme Court says that's actually not the same offense. They're two separate sovereigns. It happens all the time. The Supreme Court says that's not an issue. The more interesting thing here, guys, is to see the argument that the defense is making about the terrorism enhancements.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. So the murder, it's not just a murder case and murder charges. There are also these other charges of terrorism. There are different elements to that. And the defense is saying this case is not appropriate for a terrorism charge, and the prosecutors have not met their burden. How do you think a judge will deal with that?
So I think it could get some traction with a jury if it gets that far. You think about, this is a person who has raised close to $1 million in small dollar donations, anonymous donations. He has an enormous amount of support. And so I think the hope is that it gets that far. It gets to a jury that would say, this is not terrorism. When you think about classic terrorism case, Oklahoma City, September 11th, multiple individuals, a violent attack, the spectacle of that, the defense wants to say, this is not that. This is a personal attack against an individual CEO. It was not meant to send a larger message to society.
That's an argument before a jury. What they're arguing right now is for a judge to decide it should never even get to that point.
That's what they hope. But usually a judge is going to say it's going to be a jury's call to make.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC, or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.